Hello guys, today we're going to be doing a video on the Unreal Engine 5 Matrix demo with the RTX 3080. We're running a Ryzen 5900X with 64GB of RAM running at 3200 MHz. This is actually the first time when we need to have 64GB of RAM. Since the first time you open up the project in Unreal Engine, it tells you that you need to have a 12-core CPU, 64GB of RAM, and a GPU with 8GB of VRAM. It says RTX 2080 there. Alright, let's take a look at the settings. We don't get too many options in the actual game itself, but we do get some important ones like crowd density, traffic, and parked cars. Increasing these will just absolutely destroy our frame rate. We're going to be falling to the 20s, in the mid 20s. Having these all maxed out, and decreasing them will probably be sitting in the 50s, I would guess. So, alright, I think that's enough with the settings. Let's go ahead and start driving around and see how this thing performs. Alright, off the bat, we are getting 37 to 44 FPS, so we're sitting in the high 30s to the mid 40s. That frame rate is pretty awful for a 3080, but the game does feel decently smooth. We do get some micro stuttering here and there as well. That's due to the CPU. Since as we speed up, we are getting more CPU bound. Game looks insanely good though. I will say the game looks really good. We don't really get too many options like I said before for our graphical quality. I think this is the first game where I've actually seen where it uses up 12 cores on your CPU. Majority of games use up 4 cores around there, sometimes use 2, sometimes use 8, like Battlefield 2042, that will definitely use up 8 cores. But most use 4, and this game uses up 12. It is a tech demo, I guess, not a full release game, but still, it's kind of crazy. Alright, let's go ahead and drive around nighttime for a little bit on low settings just to see if there's any performance impact on the game. And it seems like we got an FPS boost of around 4 or 5. That's pretty good. I guess playing at nighttime isn't as intensive as daytime. The game looks way better though. At nighttime it looks way better. Yeah, we're definitely not getting high frame rates. I was gonna say, because we got so many different light sources coming in now, from the lampposts to the buildings, that there's no way that we're getting better performance from it. What I've realized is that the overlay is causing the game to crash and act unstable. So we don't really have too much time before it crashes again, because it's already crashed twice. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover the rest of the stuff that we haven't covered yet. Drive around. Game's feeling very smooth this time. 28 FPS was the lowest I think I've seen it. 26, 24. The game feels very weird now, this kind of frame rate. Oh my god, okay. We just got cyberpunked. Car fell to the floor. Now can we actually get out of the car, or will it reset itself? Whoa! There you go, there's that car. We glitched the physics by going too quick and having too low of a frame rate. I just despawned that car. I realized that it was out of bounds and it disabled it. Alright, now we can actually see the objects as cubes and the AI. So the greens are cars driving around, and the white cubes are people walking around, and the blue are represented as parked cars. So do we have screen space reflections then? I think we do, right? Let me see. So yeah, we definitely do have screen space reflections. As you can see, when the object is actually in view, there's a reflection on the floor, and when the object leaves the camera, then it also removes the reflection that comes with it. There we go. And that's the main difference that I can tell between ray tracing and screen space, is that ray tracing will always reflect it even if the object is not in camera, is not in front of the camera, and screen space needs the object to be in view for it to actually do the reflection. We're running the game at max settings now. I don't know if I've already done that in the video because it's crashed so many times, but max settings at nighttime on foot, we're getting 30 FPS. Now I'm wondering, if I disable the crowd, will that resolve our CPU bottleneck? And it will, look at that. GPU is very close to being maxed out. It was sitting in the mid 70s to 80s, now we're just holding 90 pretty much. So frame rate also jumped up as well. We were in the low 30s, now we're in the low 40s. Gained an extra 10 FPS from doing just that. City looks insanely good from up here. I mean, obviously the ones in the distance don't look good, but that's just intentional. You can see all the cars driving around. Now, what we can do is we can go ahead and enable crowd and traffic. And we're gonna we can see the AI of each car, and as you can see, the cars that are up close are very smooth, and the movement is very fluid, while the cars in the distance up top are very like static and like very jumpy. Yeah. You can see the sun move. It moves in a circle, it looks like, even though it's not how the real sun moves, I guess. Now, can we see the moon if I turn nighttime mode on? So the sun becomes the moon. Interesting. That's good to know. Game looks insanely good during the night. It just, I can't say it enough. It just looks so good. Alright, I think I'll wrap the video here, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. See you next time.